Hey guys, I'm here with another edition of Commander on a Budget, which I've decided to make into a monthly series. So for every month, I'll do a talk about a Commander deck that I've built that's on a relatively low budget, for a 99 card deck. And this month's, which is July 2015, is Endrek Sahr, Master Breeder, who is our commander. He's a mono black commander, as you can see, and his ability, he's a 5-mana 2/2. And he has an ability where anytime you cast a creature spell, you get to put X 1/1 black Thrull creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. And he tries, he's sort of balanced because whenever you control 7 or more Thrulls, you sacrifice Endrek Sahr, Master Breeder. So what I've done is sort of make a deck that just really benefits from generating all these Thrulls, but can keep the train rolling, like keep you generating Thrulls, as many as you want. And to do that, I had to put a lot of sacrifice outlets into the deck. The deck is also heavily creature-based, as you can see, 34 creatures, because every creature I play makes Thrulls, so every creature is huge value. So I have, piles here. In the left pile, I have sacrifice outlets. So I have Carrion Feeder, who has a free sacrifice ability that costs nothing. So the idea, with these sacrifice outlets is before I play a spell that will give me 7 or more Thrulls, I sacrifice as many Thrulls as I need to a sacrifice outlet, like our Carrion Feeder, who gets +1/+1 counters every time I sacrifice something. We also have Plague Rusalka, who can give things -1/-1. Bloodthrone Vampire, who gets pumped until end of turn. Gate to Phyrexia, which is only a once per turn thing. You can do it more than once per turn, I guess, but it's also one of the few ways black has to destroy artifacts. So I can use up a Thrull to destroy an artifact every upkeep, or as many artifacts as I want every upkeep. Bloodflow Connoisseur, another put a +1/+1 counter on it creature like our Carrion Feeder. Nantuko Husk, who I'm sure you're familiar with, and just gets buffed. These three cards are actually basically all the same. Nantuko Husk, Phyrexian Ghoul. The only difference is that the Husk is also an insect. The Ghoul is just a zombie, but it gets the same buff. And Vampire Aristocrat, who isn't a zombie, but basically has the same ability. Devouring Swarm, who also gets +1/+1 every time you sack a creature. Mind Slash, which you can use to destroy the opponent's hand with all of our extra Thrulls. Stronghold Assassin, who can destroy creatures for us by taking up a Thrull. Desecration Elemental, who can eat up a bunch of Thrulls whenever I need him to. And he's also just a big beater early. He's kind of a cool synergistic card, too, because when you play him with Endrek Sahr in play, he generates a bunch of Thrulls that can be sacrificed to him, so you can keep him in play. Bloodhost, which sacrifices creatures and gets +1/+1 counters, gains you life 2. Fallen Angel, which gets buffed till end of turn. Sidisi, you can only sacrifice one of them, but it has a really strong ability. And this is probably the filthiest thing this deck can do, is play a Phyrexian Plague Lord, and then use all the guys that it generated to just immediately kill a creature. And if Phyrexian Plague Lord's in play, I can just constantly, every turn, sack as many Thrulls as I need. Skull Clamp isn't exactly a sacrifice outlet, but it basically reads, if I have Thrulls in play, pay 1, equip this to a Thrull, and draw 2 cards. So sacrifice a Thrull, draw 2 cards, basically. And in this, so those are sort of our sacrifice outlets. In this pile, we have a bunch of cards that have synergy with our commander or our general strategy. So we have Mortician Beetle, who every time I sacrifice a creature gets a +1/+1 counter, so I can get big in a hurry. Grim Haruspex, who lets me draw a card anytime a non-creature token I control dies. Orc Sureshot, who works really well with Endrek Sahr because every time Thrulls come into play, or any creature comes into play on my side of the battlefield, I get to give one of my opponent's creatures -1/-1. So say I play, Swarm of Bloodflies with this, and immediately I can give -5/-5 to something because I get 5 Thrulls. Grave Pact, which makes my opponent sack a creature every time I sack a creature. Dictate of Erebos, same thing, except it has flash, so it can be a surprise. Call to the Grave makes both me and my opponent sacrifice a creature at our upkeep. For me, it's usually not going to be as big of a deal. Swarm of Bloodflies gets bigger every time when any creature dies, including my own. Thrull Champion pumps all the Thrull tokens if I want to try to win that way. And Ebon Praetor also has synergy with the Thrulls. It gets bigger if you sacrifice a Thrull to it every turn, so it's also a sack outlet. And Butcher of Malakir has the Grave Pact ability on a huge body that can also make 7 Thrulls. It's the only creature in my deck that The minute I play it, I do have to sacrifice Endrek Sahr because it'll make 7 Thrulls. So I can't sacrifice anything to save him, but I think it's a powerful enough ability to put him in there. Here I just sort of have a bunch of staples for black, mono black, I think, especially for a budget mono black deck. So I have removal, like Doomblade, go for the throat, Silumgar Assassin, Ultimate Price, Sign in Blood, which can draw us cards, Great Betrayal, which is just really powerful in Commander, especially in multiplayer. You just gain control of your opponent's creatures every time they die. Coffin Queen can steal your opponent's creatures. Profane Command is just a really powerful spell. It's an X spell, and you can kill an opponent's creature, return a creature card from my graveyard to the battlefield, which will also activate Endrek Sahr or drain my opponent. Also give my creatures fear. Damnable Pact can be used to fireball the opponent or draw us cards, whichever we need. Deathbringer Reagent is really good. I guess he's another creature that, when he comes into play, Endrek Sahr has to be sacrificed, but he nukes the whole field but himself anyway. And so that works pretty well. Foul Renewal is just good with all my high converted mana cost creatures. I can get one back and kill one of my opponent's creatures. Deathwind, another removal spell. Paragon of Open Graves to pump all my black creatures. Diabolic Tutor to search my library for any card I want. Murderous Cut for removal. Reach of Shadows for removal. Shriekmaw for removal, but it's also pretty synergistic with Endrek Sahr because for 2 mana I can get 5 Thrulls and blow up a creature, because even if I evoke it, my Shriekmaw's converted mana cost is still 5, so that's pretty sweet. Archfiend of Depravity, which just puts a lot of pressure on the opponent by making them sack creatures. Board clears like Crux of Fate. Grey Merchant, I'm going to have High Devotion a lot of times late, and it can just finish the opponent. Palace Siege can make us keep getting cards back from our graveyard or drain our opponent, whichever we want. Send an Evencar, pumps our whole team and weakens our opponent's team, assuming they aren't black creatures. Grave Titan, definitely the most expensive card in this deck. Without him, the deck would be even cheaper than it already is. But he's just so good that he has to be in here. Life's Finale as a board sweeper. Visara the Dreadful, just can kill any creatures it wants, and it's a 5/5 flyer. Massacre Worm can just nuke my opponent's field a lot of the time against certain opponents, and just a powerful ability. And then we have Phyrexian Revoker, who can turn off activated abilities. Candles of Laying, which is a really good budget way to get card advantage in Commander, since cards in your graveyard are never going to have the same name as cards on top of your library, unless they're basic lands, which can happen. You get to draw a card a large percentage of the time. Duplicate, which is just a really good removal spell, and will make 6 Thrulls with Endrek Sahr. And Champion's Helm, which can protect our Endrek Sahr. So that's the deck we have here. I'm going to play 3 one-game matches with it so you can see how it does. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to try to find a way to take advantage of all the creature generation that Endrek Sahr can do at an extremely efficient rate. So that's the deck tech video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.